What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders Awakened. I wanted to go through and answer some frequently asked questions about Supreme Gear. I get these questions all the time on live streams, and it's still my most commented thing on YouTube videos, is various questions in regards to Supreme Gear and where it is at. Now, first off, question number one, where you get the loot. Where is Supreme Gear? Well, Supreme Gear has a large range, just like every other quality of gear. The generalization of the map is gear is based off of the number of modifiers you choose. So, for example, Hardcore is a loot multiplier. Rifted mode, of course, turns it into rifted enemies, where the fusion gear drops. This is also a loot multiplier as well. And then additionally, you've got the bonus difficulties that you'll have to unlock by killing the boss associated with the difficulty on that particular game mode. The highest one being Dune Eater difficulty. So the TLDW, as far as where is the best loot in the game, it is in Massacre, Mixed Mode, Hardcore, Rifted, Dune Eater, bonus difficulty. You run this, you're going to get the best possible loot that can drop in the game. There's nowhere else in the game that has a ceiling on loot quality quite like it is in this game mode. Now, with that being said, remember it is super rare. So if the game is called Dungeon Defenders, it is going to be a grind game. If it's got those two words in the titles, guaranteed it's a grind game. So you're going to have to grind. You're not going to just run in and get supreme loot dropping all over the ground. It is super rare drops. Someone like myself that has a pretty strict loot filter and is kind of really at the higher end of fine-tuning my sets of gear, I might put in an entire week's play without seeing one single supreme upgrade. It is all about the grind and all about the collecting in Dungeon Defenders Awakened, just like Dungeon Defenders 1 is. Now that comes into the second question of how do you get the loot so fast? Now, there's nothing fast about it, y'all. I just can't say that enough. Everyone sees that I've got all these supreme items in my inventory and assumes that there's just some magic trick to get all of these supremes just pumped through for your inventory. That's not the case. It is all about the grind. So a lot of the important thing that people tend to miss is that since Supreme Gear has become available, I've played the game for several hundred hours. I don't even know how many hours it is, but I'm assuming it's probably like 300 plus hours since the update came, since Supreme Loot happened. So there is no quick and easy magic trick into getting a bunch of Supreme Gear super fast that's worth using other than straight up time and straight up grind. Now, what about survival mode? You can queue up survival mode and let it run for 10 hours. You can indeed do that. And survival mode is an awesome gear farming place to go to if you want gear that's almost as good as the mixed mode gear and is super chill. So if you're wanting to watch a little Netflix or something and you want to just AFK it out in, say, Royal Gardens, then you're going to want to come in, do survival, once again, hardcore and rifted, and making sure you toggle on that Dune Eater difficulty. If you don't have the Dune Eater difficulty unlocked, it's the same here as it was in mixed mode. You've got to beat the Forsaken Temple on survival to unlock Dune Eater difficulty on survival massacre. So it's all per tier. So running survivals is a very valid strat. However, just realize up front, the gear is not at the same level it's going to be in mixed mode. The caps are completely different. I mean, it's not mechanically possible at all for survival gear to hit mixed mode quality gear, even if you're on wave 69,420. Just can't happen. So when you do survival mode, you're doing survival mode for the chill farming experience. You want to AFK it out, watch your TV show, or whatever you're wanting to do, and collect some loot in the process. So your expectations should be in line with where that is at. Now, the next question is, where does Supreme Loot start dropping? Well, once again, Supreme Loot does have a wide range, so it's going to start dropping on Lycan King bonus difficulty. However, it is going to be crazy, crazy rare. So you will see some Supreme gear from time to time on Lycan King difficulty, but if you think it's rough on Dune Eater difficulty, Lycan King is just not going to give you much. So you might run 100 mixed mode maps on Lycan King bonus difficulty and only see one Supreme piece. It is very, very realistic. However, that is where the Supreme items start dropping. Now, these drop items, of course, are going to be a bottom of the barrel piece, very low end Supreme piece, and additionally, remember, players should not use a piece just because it's Supreme. Make sure it's got the right stuff on it. So if you're, in this case, I've got range, rate, and power. Well, this is for my PDS builder. So the best 3 passives for a damaging defense would be rate, power, and then percent damage. So I've got range on this one as said, so I've only got 2 out of 3 of the passives. If you've got an item that is a godly piece, say it's an item, let's see if we can just find a straight bummer one. Different hero maybe. Let's see, here we go. We got this piece, gloves, they're godly, percent damage and power on them. Now this is my spider builder, it's not a top priority, and guard items of course are a hot commodity. So I have not found Supreme gear for this spider builder that's as good as my godly gear. So don't equip it just because it's Supreme. Make sure it's got the right stats on it and it has the passives you want. Now, of course, a Supreme piece is going to be a nice stat stick for you. It's going to get more of the base stats on the item. However, if it doesn't have the correct passives, you're almost always still going to be losing out. So prioritize having the correct stats on items that you loot and don't care whether or not it is godly or Supreme. The Supreme stuff will get there. It's no rush. You're going to turn into an absolute beast just with having godly stuff and not worrying about the Supreme gear at all. The Supreme gear will indeed come without a doubt. And then last but not least, people are curious why that there's so few fusion pieces of gear that drop as Supreme versus everything else. And it's pretty simple math here, y'all. Like 90%, 95% of the loot that drops on the ground is going to be non-fusion gear. So 90 to 95% of all Supreme drops are going to be non-fusion gear. It's just a matter of each individual gear piece that drops on the ground has a role of its quality level. If the quality level is high enough, it's going to be Supreme, and non-fusion gear is just getting a whole lot more rolls compared to any fusion piece. This can become particularly difficult, of course, when it comes to farming weapons. With weapons, of course, you're going to want boss weapons. Say you want the Dragoon from the Summit. That's 1 drop per map. You'd want to do it on Massacre, Mixed Mode, Hardcore, Rifted, Dune Eater bonus difficulty, but it's 1 drop per map per run with a super small chance of that item rolling as a Supreme quality item. So with this in mind, when it comes to weapon farming particularly, always just go Mixed Mode. The chance is so small anyway that you might as well use your 1 chance in the game mode that's going to give you the higher potential loot. Now, I do know that Dungeon Defenders Awakened is full of lots of folks that do enjoy chillaxing it out and run survival, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just make sure your expectations are in order with the quality of gear you're going to get versus what you could potentially get in mixed mode. If you have any more questions at all about getting Supreme gear, make sure to let me know down in the comments below, and I will do my best to get those questions answered. But that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching, and I will see you next time around. Take it easy.